Today is the 2nd of August 2014. This is a call to all scientists, intelligent men, to understand that what I am about to reveal, that has been revealed to me, is a new understanding of the entire universe. I am about to show that the Coriolis effect, which is several hundred years old, is inadequate and wrong in the description of how and why our planet and all planets are revolving in an anti-clockwise rotation. Some galaxies are rotating in a clockwise direction, which totally destroys the Coriolis effect anyway, but I am now going to show what is causing the clockwise rotation and the anti-clockwise rotation that is happening in every single planetary body. What you are looking at on screen is a cigarette with smoke coming off it. Now, the smoke is going and flowing in a double helix. This is the flow and passageway of all energy. Energy flows through an atom in a double helix. Anti-clockwise is down and clockwise is up for the passage of energy. Now, in a column of smoke, it rotates anti-clockwise. Here, I've been able to separate it. It separates itself. This is an easy experiment to reproduce. Just like light a cigarette and let it burn. Now, if you'd been watching my video series, I start off with a unified field theory, which dictated that because of what I'd already been told in science about the Coriolis effect, things coming downwards, and only one rotation, I was under a false assumption that energy was only going downwards, and so I stated that gravity is the downward flow of energy upon electrons. Now, having discovered this double helix in the smoke, I have also discovered there are three rotations. There is one large anti-clockwise rotation, and inside that is a double helix. This double helix is turning anti-clockwise. That's why there is the outer anti-clockwise full rotation. Inside is a double helix where energy is flowing anti-clockwise and clockwise at the same time. So you now have anti-clockwise and clockwise in a double helix, meaning they are equal. And then you have a larger anti-clockwise rotation on the outside of that, spinning both of them in an anti-clockwise rotation, which means we now have two anti-clockwise down and one clockwise up. And from this smoke, it can be seen and deduced. I'll show some paperwork in a minute explaining this, but the rotation on the left, which is turning anti-clockwise, is not carrying very much smoke up. It looks like it is, but it's not. Inside this helix is another clockwise rotating helix. So there's another double helix. Every time a double helix splits, it forms two helixes, but again, those are double helix, because this is the way that energy is traveling. The electromagnetic shield of our planet is conducting the energy that flows into our planet, and it conducts it in a double helix. So this rotational energy is passing through the electromagnetic field lines of this planet, which run in double helixes. So every time more energy is inputted, the helix increases in size, and then another one forms inside it. So what you're looking at is an anti-clockwise rotation on the left. Inside that is a clockwise rotation, which is migrating the smoke matter to the right hand clockwise rotation, which is always for passing energy upwards. Energy passes upwards in a clockwise rotation. This is gravity up, basically. It means you can stand up, because the energy flow acting upon electrons is gravity, and there are two anti-clockwise rotations going downwards, which is keeping us on the ground. The one going up pushes energy upwards in a clockwise rotation. So now also I can tell you that as we're looking at this, you can see rungs. Those are where the wave formation, because this is a wave pulse. The energy is pulsing out. As the top of the wave rolls over, this forms the rung, which is a clockwise rotation, which sends the material from the anti-clockwise rotation to the right-hand clockwise rotation. These rungs are exactly the same as DNA, because what we are looking at is electromagnetic energy wave formation, which forms a ladder, because the clockwise and anti-clockwise rotations link into one another so that they form the rolling wave. And this is how DNA works. Anti-clockwise is the passage of energy down. To get to the clockwise rotation up, you have the energy wave, electromagnetic wave rollover. These are the rungs that are in DNA. So now, biologists and whoever else is involved in that, DNA flow of energy is from the anti-clockwise to the clockwise rotation, so that anti-clockwise is, let's just say, the negative direction of the energy, but it can migrate to the clockwise rotation, which is positive energy going in the opposite direction, just like a Rodin coil. That is how energy passes through double helix DNA. How else would DNA pass energy? How would it grow unless there was double helix energy, which this is, and it's showing its passage by traveling across where the wave folds over. It then travels from the anti-clockwise on the left to the clockwise on the right, so it can travel in that direction, because this energy is going upwards, so the whole thing is trying to turn clockwise, because that's the energy flow upwards. So even though there is an anti-clockwise rotation on the left, everything is trying to rotate clockwise, because clockwise is up. So now, anybody dealing with any DNA knows exactly why energy flows. When two pieces of DNA connect together, they connect positive to negative and positive to negative, and then it is a circuit, so that double helix DNA double helix energy can pass through the double helix DNA. Okay, I'm going to put up a bit of a paper explanation of this just to slow it down so you can actually see on screen what I'm describing. So this is a written explanation of it with a couple of diagrams so that you can see kind of basically what I'm explaining. Now on the left hand sheet I've got the number just 1 to 4 there, and we'll go from number 1. This is the double helix that you are seeing rising up, and each time the left hand side is anti-clockwise, and that is the downward flow of energy. But as you can see, inside that is a clockwise rotation which migrates to the right hand clockwise rotation, because clockwise is up. And because it's pulsing, it forms these rollover waves. This is the electromagnetic energy rolling over and migrating across, just like DNA. Now, if you look across at the sheet on the right hand side, you will see what looks like the above shape of an atom. That's because the reason it is migrating from the anti-clockwise rotation via a clockwise rotation to the clockwise rotation on the right hand side is because they are interlinked waves. This is how an atom pulses. It pulses out the wave. It is clockwise, anti-clockwise. Inside that is a clockwise rotation which spins out and catches hold of the next wave. Inside that, because it's all double helixes, that's why waves are waves. So that's exactly what it looks like when an atom pulses. The waves are attached to each other. How is it a wave and a particle at the same time? It's a wave right now, but when you look at an atom, your eyes are absorbers. So they absorb the energy, and the electron has to go back to the nucleus to pick up more matter. I know that sounds like, hey, Einstein says it's equals mc squared. No, it doesn't, otherwise it wouldn't be there. So once the energy disappears, the wave explodes like a soap bubble, giving off particles in all directions, because the electron is actually running in the Fibonacci sequence, which means that's why it bursts like a bubble, because every single piece has to be in its arranged place, which happens in the atom by the electron. So it pulses out these waves. When you look at something, you drain its energy, it goes back to the nucleus, picks up the energy in more matter, expands it out in another wave until you keep looking at it. If you're continuously looking at it, it will keep zooming back to the nucleus, exploding all the matter away from it, because energy attracts matter, and if the energy disappears, the matter disappears off of it. So that's why we have waves. That's why clouds are shaped like this. That's why waves are shaped like this. Everything is an electromagnetic waveform. That is why water follows waves, because the wave is rolling. Clouds are rolling. So anybody who knows anything about meteorology, this covers everything across the universe, this double helix. It causes all waves. If you look again on the left there, the left sheet, you will see number 2, when the helix gets together in the smoke, proving that energy rises in the double helix with rungs going across. If you look just to the right of that, you will see a DNA strand, and it is constructed to pass energy in a double helix, which I am showing on screen. And again, if we look to the right hand screen, I've got like a pair of eyeballs there. Those are my electromagnetic fields. One is rotating anti-clockwise, one is rotating clockwise, and they are both rotating anti-clockwise so that they mesh together. So an atom is also giving off a double helix pulse, which causes the wave rollover, which links it to the next wave. Okay, now I'm going to put up a million examples of this double helix energy attracting matter and moving it in a double helix, just to prove that it is happening. The double helix is moving this planet. It is passing through our electromagnetic fields. That power is coming from the sun, literally like a rope going right through the middle of the earth, turning it. So let's have a look at a few examples. So starting with things that pass double helix energy. Here we have plant and human DNA. Okay, so now we have the human DNA. Let's see how you could construct a human body using double helix power, being able to have a double helix and then split it into a single helix. So biology people, anybody interested in anatomy, this is how your human body was made. Once your DNA was formed, double helix energy began to flow. On the top of your head is where this energy went in, as confirmed by a single swirl or a double helix of hair on people's heads. I myself have a double swirl on my head, one rotation anti-clockwise and one rotation clockwise. So this is where energy went in. So your double helix DNA decides where the double helix energy will be either split or combined or a mixture of the two. Looking at this cute little fella's face, your whole body is divided into two sides. All your hair on your left is in the opposite rotation to all hair on your right. This swirl, double helix energy, went in at the back of your head, split into two and formed your eyes and your nostrils and your lungs and anything else that's double inside you, your kidneys. Even if you look at your fingerprints, you will find that these are opposite rotations because they were made using double helix energy. Both sides of you created at the same time by your DNA, which is double helix. Now your nostrils are double helix and so are your lungs, because it's a closed system, and when they pull in, it is to avoid air disruption and collision. Your nostrils rotate in a double helix. This is why it's very hard to breathe if you get a slightly blocked up nose, because suddenly you have smooth nostrils, which then causes all the molecules to hit each other rather than travelling in through a double helix. If you only have able to breathe through one nose, it's more than twice the effort to try and breathe, because you need the two rotations in, because you have two rotations inside your lungs. This is easily provable. Just take a big drag of a cigarette, blow it out your nose, and you will see that it rotates in opposite directions. Again, confirming double helix DNA must pass double helix energy to grow both sides of your bodies. Your ears, tubes that go in, they are wave formations. Every single thing in your body is a wave formation, constructed using the DNA code, processing DNA energy and directing it into a shape. You have one head, one neck, two arms, one body, two legs. Your neck, one rotation. Inside is all your muscles and everything else, which again show double helix change. Goes into your body, splits where your arms are, 2 double helix rotations. Your body is one core, that is the double helix inside there, and then it splits to form your legs and everything else that you have 2 of. And looking at this gruesomeness, both sides, double rotation, double hemispheres, you name it, it's a double rotation, a double helix rotation, 2 opposites contained in one. So basically I've just shown how a human body can be built, so you biologists, you're far brighter than me, you should be getting on that. And just to prove it happens to animals too, there is the double helix rotation right there. So I don't need to go into animals because they're built exactly the same way. That's why they have opposite rotations to their faces and bodies and fur and everything else, because energy is double helix, and double helix DNA has to pass double helix energy. Now I'm going to go through plants and how to prove that they grow in a double helix. This one's really simple, and anybody can go out and check this. If you go outside to any growing piece of grass that has a leaf to one side, then a leaf to the other, you know, like a piece of wheat, or, you know, whatever's growing that's just a tall piece of grass. First one is anti-clockwise, second one is clockwise. Next one up is anti-clockwise, next one is clockwise. They do opposite rotations. How can you tell? Break off a thin growing tip, it will unroll to the left, and then inside that is another leaf that is rolled up, and you can unroll it to the right, proving that double helix energy is pushing up the matter that is double helix matter. Double helix DNA in plants works exactly the same. As you can see from this one, plant DNA also incorporates the Fibonacci sequence, which is also incorporated into the DNA, otherwise it wouldn't grow this way. Here you can see a vine that has clearly got waves and ladder rungs linking it from side to side. Here we see how leaves are formed. The stem that pushes the leaf out is a double helix, then the double helix splits, and the leaf literally rolls up from the inside out. If you take a leaf, you can just grab hold of it, roll its leaves back up, they roll into one double helix that is sat together, one with a rotation anti-clockwise, one with clockwise. This shows a leader from a plant, and as you can see, it is following the spiral energy. Now, because plants don't work by magic, they work by electromagnetic energy. This one is following a anti-clockwise rotation downwards, because that's what just filled the DNA, and the double helix DNA takes the double helix energy and follows it down to the ground. That's how it works. It's following an electromagnetic wave rotation that is running through the earth. That is why they grow. They do not grow by magic, they grow because it is all electrical. I'm now putting up, there's a rose for you. That's all the electromagnetic waves that are folded out rather than pulsing out. They have unlocked and folded out to make the petals, which also goes with, I'm not quite sure the name of it, can't read it from here, but it's basically a rose galaxy. This actually exists in space, and it's in the shape of a rose, showing that energy builds things. Energy builds matter into an electromagnetic wave shape, showing that it goes from all the way down to the atom, all the way to the plants, humans, and to the cosmos. This double helix built and is running everything in the universe. But before we get into the cosmos, let's go through the planet. Here we see rolling clouds. Now traditionally, before anybody argues, winds move, let's just say east to west, or west to east, it doesn't really matter. That's because the electromagnetic field bands which carry the double helix energy move in those directions. And as I've shown, when this wave comes out, this double helix, the ends roll over. So what you are seeing is the electromagnetic field bands attracting the water molecules, attracting matter. The matter covers the rolling energy vortex, double helix, and then is pulsed along by the north to south electromagnetic field bands. That's why they roll over. This again is an example of the wave rollover formation. Now this was taken in Russia. That's a double helix cloud. As you can see, another rotational cloud there. We're just going to go through all the different kinds of rotations that are happening, because energy attracts matter, matter covers energy, and then energy moves matter. So there's a different shot of that double helix from Russia, and here we see obvious rotational clouds. These, the direction that they are following is north to south, but the direction they are moving is east to west, because the electromagnetic field bands of this planet are what are conducting this double helix energy. This torus formation here on the top left, that is what the electromagnetic field bands look around on this planet. That's what they look like, permeating from the outer atmosphere all the way down to the core. That is why they are controlling everything that is moving. Again, more twisting, rolling clouds, rolling in a double helix as they fold over. Energy is fractal, so it goes all the way down to the atom and all the way out to the size of the universe. And we'll get to that in a minute as to why is one galaxy in anti-clockwise rotation and why is another galaxy in a clockwise rotation. The odd ones that NASA can't understand what's going on. I'm giving it to you. Double helix energy runs through atoms, and it runs through the planet, and it runs through the sun, and it runs through the galaxy, and it runs through the universe. That's why things rotate in opposite directions. Now this is at galactic level. As you can see, a massive double helix Birkeland current in space. This is hundreds of thousands of miles long, or even bigger, I don't even know. But I'll be putting up a few more just to show that double helix energy is running everything from the sun to making stars. There's another one going through space. These are all real pictures. They're not made up, but again, energy attracting matter, matter covering energy, and energy moving matter through space. Now I just want to quickly talk about sunspots. These are exactly the same as at our equator where storms arise. There is a clockwise and an anti-clockwise rotation. They call it positive and minus, or negative and positive, but they work in exactly the same way. As you can see, clockwise, counterclockwise rotation. You can see it coming from the cigarette because energy moves in a double helix and it makes matter pass in a double helix. And then here's one from, this is some kind of atomic photograph that I pulled off the net from some physics place, and as you can see, double rotation all the way through. Quickly back to space. There was a story the other day about a gas giant giving its energy at certain occasions to its companion star, and it said it's pulsing. It's doing it at regular intervals. Then it will stop, then it will start again, then it will stop. And they can't figure out why this is. Well, if I apply my double helix rotational energy and that it's connected by a rollover wave rung, every time this double helix is moving either up or down, this energy comes down. Every now and again, that energy will pass the matter across in a rung formation, looking like the companion star is sucking away all the matter from the companion star. It's not. It's passing it on a rung of energy, just like DNA, because it is an invisible, massive, supermassive double helix DNA energy that is running through this. So the matter is actually passing along the double helix, and every time it hits a rung, matter is transferred across. So there you go. This double helix is a solution to everything, from how the double helix DNA passes matter from one side to the other, or energy, sorry, and this shows how matter is passed between suns and their companion stars, which are different because they are different. One is an opposite to the other. So there you go. That's why energy passes from one to the other. There is a ladder rung fold over wave formation passing the energy. There's no such thing as magic. This is all electrically connected via a double helix DNA strand of energy. Now I'm just going through pictures that have caught my attention. This is apparently your Tesla coil. Tesla was absolutely right. There is more energy passing through our atmosphere that could power us for hundreds of thousands of years. As you can see, double helix, time exposure of 1 minute, proving that double helix energy works and is out there. Okay, so I do believe I've conclusively shown that the Coriolis effect is wrong, and this planet has not been set in motion by its making 4.7 billion years ago or 14 billion years ago. The Coriolis effect never started the rotation of anything, but the electromagnetic double helix energy that is coming from the sun, which is coming from the galactic center, wherever it's coming from, double helix energy is turning this planet, and the downward flow of energy acting upon electrons is gravity down. Then we have energy flow upwards, which allows us to get up. This also pushes every single plant out of the ground when the spring and summer arrives. When the sun tilts downwards, that is when there is a downward flow of energy, and so it forces the sunspots downwards. When there is an upward flow, it tilts the sun back up because it's an upward flow of energy. This energy reaches the earth when the northern hemisphere has the sun in the spring. The electromagnetic energy in the ground is amplified from the sun. This comes out of the ground, pushing all the plants out of the ground. Then when it goes south, everything dies. That's what happens. The electromagnetic energy disappears under the ground, which is why the ground freezes, because there's no heating going on. The electromagnetic energy drifts south, and so no more growth. Everything dies. Luckily, it doesn't drop dead and fall to pieces, because otherwise we'd all be dead in a year. But the trees get thicker bark because they are dying from the outside. Then the energy comes back in the spring and starts pushing energy back up through the trees, which is where new growth on trees comes from. That is why you get rings every year. It is the oscillation of the sun making things live, letting them die. Making things live, letting them die. And this is all controlled by upwards and downwards energy flow passing through the sun. That is the sun's rotational cycle. Energy down, energy up, energy down, energy up. Now I'm going to do something extremely unprecedented for somebody trying to prove a scientific point. I do believe I've proved it absolutely conclusively that the Coriolis effect does not exist. I don't know what that'll do to your evolutionary theories. But I've just shown that any man who has intelligence can apply this to his science and reap the benefits. I've just explained how energy travels, what a wave is, the fact that it's linked to the next one by opposite rotations, and it covers everything from DNA all the way out to the cosmos. So this should be taken seriously because it's new science. Hopefully it will fulfill science now that we know, because of this, why things are happening. But now I have to tell you where it comes from. God sent me visions for 3 weeks, and I've spent the last 3 months making videos trying to sort it out in my head, because basically the God of the Abrahamic Bible put visions into my head of how everything works. How do I know it was him and not any other God? Because I am a Christian, and everything that he sent me to with pictures in my mind of what I should be looking for in the Bible, it showed me. And now I'm about to show you God's power and where it is in the Bible, and it is double helix energy. I know that sounds quite a big claim. I'm now going to put up the scripture passages. I found the double helix energy first, and I am showing it to you on screen, so there is no doubt that this is a joke or a trick or anything. Double helix energy passes through the earth, and God showed me where it is in the Bible, and here are those two obscure scriptures that most Bibles have actually either changed or omitted because they didn't know what double helix energy was, so it has been mistranslated. My Bible, I have had several, is the closest to scriptural translation that I could get, because I wanted to know what was going to happen to me if God was real. So here we go. These are the two scriptures that contain God showing his power. And so, confirmation that God's power is double helix. Let's go with the Net Bible. It is as bright as lightning. a two-pronged lightning bolt flashes from his hand, and this is the outward display of his power. Others say, rays of light stream from his hand. This is where his power is hidden. He had two horns coming out of his hand. This is where his strength was hidden. He had rays flashing out of his hand. There his power was hidden. I have just uncovered the last sacred secret of God, and we are in the sounding of the 7 trumpets. Because I have just shown the sacred secret of God is double helix energy, and I have conclusively shown that it is running the universe. That was Habakkuk 3:4. Below is Ezekiel, and it says, it shall come to pass that every living thing that moveth, whithersoever the double river shall come, shall live. Now some uneducated people have said, oh, it's a double river, that just means it's twice as big. No, double means 2. So here again, confirmation that God's living water, the power that is making the universe alive, is double. It is a double helix. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, for these waters shall come thither, and the waters of the sea shall be healed, and everything shall live whither the river cometh. So there you go. Energy is double helix. Our DNA is double helix. We are given life by a double helix. The planet is turned by a double helix. The whole cosmos is turned by a double helix, and the whole universe is powered by a double helix, and God has hidden power coming out of his hand, and it is double helix, and whoever accepts this double helix of energy will live forever. There are several other places in the Bible saying that one river will go east and one river will go west, again proving a double helix of energy. So I'm not crazy. I've just conclusively proven that God is real. Thank you, Lord. 3 months of not knowing if this was actually going to pan out has turned out. I have trusted in God, the Abrahamic God of the Bible, because he is the one who showed me. If it had been any others, it would have been from their religions. So, my God, the God of Adam, uses double helix energy, and everything in this universe is powered by double helix energy. So science, what I have just given you, should advance everything, but it's also conclusively proven that this is from God. My name is Lee, and I am a Christian.